Now it is my great privilege to introduce our next speaker, who's been a lifelong advocate for protecting children since he was 12 years old from the harm of genital cutting. Now not a day over 45, I think. Can we get a big round of applause for Martin Novoa?
I'm proud and happy and humbled to be here with these assembled people to make this announcement today about this very important and very correct lawsuit, a lawsuit that really should be unnecessary if legislators and courts were doing their job correctly in protecting children in this country. As Eric mentioned, I have been working to bring awareness of this issue for over 50 years of my life now. And, you know, one of the things that I learned very quickly is children get it right. Acceptance of circumcision, which is a widespread practice here in this country, is a learned behavior. Just like the song in South Pacific teaches us, racism and other biases are learned behaviors, and dislike of the natural body is a learned behavior. We learn it from our parents, we learn it from various sources, but the fact of the matter is I have never met a child who reacted positively upon learning about what circumcision is. They almost invariably react with horror and disbelief. And only over time do they come to accept this as a normal practice. But it never is a normal practice. You don't routinely remove children's body parts because it's beneficial. We do it because it's a custom. If we're being honest with ourselves, this is something that we have really failed to take a look at. It's an important issue in our society, and if we're talking about children's rights, we always want to be equal and fair in this. Now, rights can be created. Legislatures do that. Rights can be recognized. Courts do that. And I want to be very clear here. We are not here today on these steps at Pioneer Courthouse Square to create a new right. We are here to recognize an existing right. Yeah. We are here to get government to act, to recognize an existing right of children that essentially has been disregarded or even trampled on. As many people before me have mentioned, this is a cultural practice, but it's not a universal cultural practice. No society in the history of the world, and I want to make this really clear, has ever adopted the genital cutting of children because there was some kind of a medical problem with those children's bodies. They never accepted it because there was a health crisis that required the surgical amputation of tissue, particularly from the genitals. Never in the history has circumcision of children, healthy children, been necessary, but it's something that we do routinely. So if we are being honest with ourselves and we recognize that not a single national medical organization in the world has felt the need to recommend infant circumcision, and even today they don't, then we have to admit that this is an unnecessary procedure that has its defenders, and the onus, the burden of proof is not on those of us who are asking for this practice to stop. It's on those who have been calling for it, defending it, and objecting to people who find problems with infant circumcision. I want to touch on religion for a moment, and this lawsuit is not about religion. I'm the son of an Orthodox Jewish mother, and I have understood where circumcision comes from for a very long time. And we hear pushback on opposition to circumcision from religious leaders particularly, who say, well, this is something sacred that we do. It's something that you have no right to question. And even speaking about the truths of circumcision is offensive because it implies that we're doing something bad or we're doing harmful. But if we are being honest, religions change and adapt, and they have done so since time immemorial. Even on the question of circumcision, how the procedure is done, what the rules are for accepting someone into a religion, whether they have to be circumcised or not. Many, many aspects of religious practice have changed over time, and those who tell us that we cannot criticize circumcision and we cannot work to end circumcision are trying to fool people into believing that that religions have been able to adapt and change for millennia, but now here we are in 2025 and there can be no further change. So if we're being honest, that is dishonest, and I think we need to call on good people to look at their own practices and look at themselves and say, yeah, maybe it's time for us to be adapting to the realities of the moment. Some of my colleagues have brilliantly discussed the anatomical issues here, because if we are being honest, there really are reasons that we're built the way we are. And if we are being honest, the foreskin of males performs functions. I often am asked, what is the reason that we have a foreskin? And there are myriad reasons. You'll get different answers from different people. But really, the basic answer, and this is going to surprise a lot of people, is for health. We all recognize the importance of genital flora in females, maintaining a good pH balance. Why is this important? Because it's for health, because it helps protect the urinary tract, because it helps prevent disease. The same is true in males. The foreskin is the only way the penis has to protect its own natural biome. And ironically, this is one of the reasons that people promote circumcision, is saying we've got to get rid of that biome. It's unhealthy, we don't like it. But the fact of the matter is, we have evolved over millions of years to have this protection, and it makes no sense to be blindly cutting it off, which is actually disadvantaging the individual when it comes to health. So if we are being honest and looking at the reasons we are designed the way we are and why we operate the way we do, then we have to recognize that it is a mistake to be coming in and altering that on a routine or even a religious basis. If we are being honest, one day circumcision will be greatly reduced or even gone, and we will say, nobody really did that. You're making it up. They didn't actually routinely come in and cut off the foreskins of normal, healthy little boys. But if we are being honest, the day will come that we will end this. Thank you.